Great fan engagement.
Yeah, for fan engagement, right? For chat, for speculation, to build up the game, to create interest. 2 hours before the game, squad. 2 hours before the game, you announce you're starting to.
We don't sell your IP on international TV. Eh? Don't sell your IP. It
was my idea, you know. Hopefully the lawyers are watching. All Black Ireland.
Yeah, what do you say? I mean, I've tried to be objective. I've tried to carve out a niche for myself as an objective Kiwi. There aren't too many of them. I get in trouble,
South Africans.
I get in trouble with New Zealand. No, that's right. And that's good. That's the passion and stuff like that. But I think in this week as well, you know, it's more, we know we're up against it. You don't too often see All Blacks coming in as real underdogs, and they really are. And for good reason. Ireland's been fantastic. As you know, I think they're the smartest team in the world at reacting on the field and adapting what they're doing. They're fantastic.
They're their form team.
They are, of course they are. So I think if you play this game 10 times, I think probably Ireland would expect to win it 7. Yeah. But, you know, there's that 20 or 30% chance, and we know the All Blacks have been looking to peak for this time of the year. This is not to excuse them against the Boks in Twickenham or against France in the opening match, but in both those games, they were right in it in the first half. They were holding on well on defence. Yeah. They got into the French 22 really well. They just couldn't punch and get the points. So they were right in the game for the first 40. They got run away from in the second half, which is unusual because the Blacks normally pride themselves on their fitness. Yeah. So I really wondered if at the time, without finding excuses, they were in a bit of a loading phase physically, whatever that means. I've just heard the word. I don't know what I'm talking about,
great.
Strength and conditioning.
They were loading phase.
I reckon they might have been there with a view to all they want to do. They get through the first game. They know, look, we perform against Italy. It doesn't matter that first result. Yeah. Like Brian says, you've got to win 3 big games. Yeah. So they're going, look, win or lose that first game. Doesn't matter if we win, it's a bonus, maybe, but who knows who we'll get from the other pool. Yeah. So let's get through that. Let's have our week off, and then we're right into it, and we're peaking for middle of October onwards. And I'm like clutching to that.
What big matchups, I mean, are you guys looking forward to this weekend?
Across all 4.
Yeah, across, We'll talk the other side. I mean, the games down there, down south.
I am, obviously from a winger perspective, I think I called Damien Penaud to break the 8. So the only way I see him breaking the 8 is if France beat the Boks this weekend. I think he's been sublime throughout this World Cup. He just does.
There's certain freedom he plays with.
Freedom, the joy that he brings. Yeah. And it comes with absolute class, right? Yeah. The deception in terms of his space, his acceleration, his ability to offload. He kicks better than me off the shin, but you know his little cross kick last week
the shink
off. I think it perfected that, 100% perfected that. Most couple lessons I can reach that. I mean, I've literally kicked the ball out the 22, right? Like Skalkberg and John de Villiers will never forget me, and Gio Aplon and John de Jong are going to rip me to pieces forever. But out on the wing, I think that's a really exciting place for me. Yeah. Do they go with the Gabin Villiers for this weekend or not? I think he's sort of been waiting in the wings. We have a very young French winger that
he plays.
Who would you go with? I mean, Villiers has been sort of the chosen guy, but then they've brought in sort of Biel, and it's kind of exciting. He's a real creator, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a conundrum that a coach would love to have. Yeah. I think he's potentially Pep Villiers at this stage, just because of his last 2 games, and he's got something different. But for me, Damien Penaud against Kurtley Arendse, 2 guys that are very different in skill set, but 2 that are
exciting,
extremely exciting.
Out of all the matchups, do you think it will be high scoring? It won't be. I mean,
weather-wise, it's apparently going to be a little bit wet up until Saturday. Yeah, which means it's.
We're not used to this, too.
No, it's been the last 5 weeks.
We've been doing the show in shorts and sunglasses.
Have been incredible, right?
Woke up this morning. Look at this.
Kiwis are all out rain dancing in the streets. Down it comes. But look, it doesn't seem to make too much difference these days with these guys. The skill level's so high, isn't it? Their management of the game. You know, yes, it might be a bit greasy on top, a bit more, kicks, the grubber kicks, particularly with those ferocious defences coming up. But their skills and their handling, I think, if there are opportunities they see, they're going to look to exploit them, aren't they? And, through the hands. They're so skilled, these players these days.
No, it's insane.
All Blacks selection. Look, I suppose it's pretty settled. Frizzell needs to fire. I think if he plays, he's crucial. A Blackadder maybe on the bench because he can cover 8.
I think so. I think just that abrasive nature.
Yeah,
Frizzell's been big. He's got that great combination with Aaron Smith. You know, they play together at the Highlanders and Super Rugby. Smith always finds him as his bailout option. They know to track one another. And Frizzell offers that a little bit extra in terms of punch. They've got, you know, Scott Barrett who can hit the line hard. Frizzell's just a little bit something extra, and he's going to knock out 2 or 3 tacklers who won't then be able to try and steal. So either he goes over the line or he takes out 3 defenders straight away and still gets the ball back. So he's important. I'm with Brian as well. Out on the wings, James Lowe. Presumably up against Will Jordan.
It will be Will Jordan,
and,
wow.
You know, James Lowe as a New Zealander, Bundy Aki as well. How much is in their mind every time they play the All Blacks that they didn't get a look in national selection when they were back in New Zealand? How much is we've got a point to prove as well? And you can't go too much individual on that, but I think Aki and James Lowe are big parts of the Irish team, sparking things at different times.
Just on that, David McKenzie.
Yeah,
Does he find a place?
Where do you fit him in there?
Well, that's the other. I was going to say when I mentioned Scott Barrett, where do you fit Barrett, Whitelock, Retallick, and Frizzell? And they can't all start, obviously. And same thing with Barrett B, Moonga, and DMAC. I don't know. I mean, DMAC has been extraordinary. Every time you think, gee, teams are really going to analyse him, they're going to find a way to shut him down eventually. He comes out with something else extraordinary. You've got to have him in the mix. I think you do. You still have. I think
him on the bench,
because I think Beauden Barrett's still a massive part of that leadership group. So what he brings in the intangibles on the field is still huge. And I think Moonga is still the most complete of the fly halves that we've got with the All Blacks.
So you've been in Paris for a while. So if the Springboks win and the All Blacks win, where do we celebrate? What are the good spots here? That's an important question.
I've been threatening to get everyone to Bugsy's for a long time. Bugsy's one of those great things. It's got a nice French history behind it, but it is kind of Anglo-owned and run with Alan there, who's a fantastic host. They've got great French food and drink, but they've got all the matches on with English commentary as well. So I think, Bugsy's is the go-to, but there are so many good options around Paris as well. You've got the one that you'll love, I'm sure, Shimmy, no scrum, no win.
But Shimmy, with all the harvesting you've been done, surely you can stick the boys for Cafe de Leon.
No, you owe us for what you did to me and Marshy the other night.
No, but surely, I mean, you've been harvesting so much.
I've successfully avoided Marshy. I'm looking forward to catching up with him, but I'm also dreading it as well. I mean, this tournament has been a wonderful 9 months, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
The amount of if the players of today, I always say it, if the players of today think it's a tough tournament to play and train in, wait till they get to the retired stage.
Do our job, do what we do.
Hashtag still think we've got it.
Arduous, yeah, exactly.
And there's a lot of people, Big Vic is in town, John Smith's in town now. There's a lot of guys flying in. So Bugsy's it is, eh?
I think so, yeah. You can't go wrong.
Do we use Mertens at the door? What do we?
Yeah, just say I believe there might be a little area set aside. It's not VIP area, not like what you guys are used to, but
it's not VIP.
We're talking VIP. What's the place you took us to, Brian?
Cafe de Leon.
We had to pay to sit outside.
No, but Shimmy.
We had to pay to sit outside. So it's nice when he tells you once you're sitting down. Listen, guys. By the way, you get they charge.
No, they say they want to go for dinner. Maybe have a bit of a jar or two. I'm like, okay, guys, it's Sunday night in Paris.
With Marshy or jar or two?
No, well, a jar or two. Let's be respectful. Okay. A bottle or two. I mean, where do you want to go? So I'm expecting. I dress up to the T, just because as you do, right?
He's wearing a jacket
standards.
and a polo neck.
Standards, right? Standards. You just go with standards. You look decent.
Yeah.
And I said, like, Shimmy, you can actually stay at my place. I'm literally right around the corner. He used to come in shorts.
Oh, really?
Shorts and slops. I'm like, guys, seriously, standards.
You're there in your bell staff. You're all dressed up, beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm like, how do I get so? And then we had to pay extra because they were in shorts.
It wasn't for the shorts. It wasn't for the shorts.
Jeez, note to self.
We almost got kicked out, actually. The bouncers there said, no, you guys, they wouldn't let us in. I said, no, Brian O'Banner's, come sit down there.
Some of the infrastructure here doesn't seem set up for what we know as South Africans and New Zealanders getting together, or worse still, English, Irish and Welsh coming in and just like locusts, and the beer just drains out of the town. I'm not sure they must have had English over here for years, the French. They must have been aware that there was going to be a huge demand placed on the airport, the passport control at the airport. A disaster. They've got to improve that before the Olympic Games. But also, they're stocking up of the beer and they're getting
running out, is it?
Out. Well, it's just coming out slower. I think they've just been absolutely blown away by the intensity of the demand.
Talking about the